How are we all doing? Happy Wednesday. Lovely to cook some bread on such a lovely day. I wasn't expecting it to be so hot outside to bake bread. So obviously today, Guinness soda bread. It's not going to be a long. it's not going to be a long session, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make the bread. I'm going to run through the steps. We're going to make it together, but then the baking part of it, it takes about 40 to 50 minutes. So I'm guessing, you know, while it's in the oven, you can go out and enjoy yourselves. So what I'll do is I'll show you to make the bread. I've done one beforehand, so a little bit of Blue Peter style. So that's what we're going to end up having in the end. You can see that. My lights aren't great, but if you can see that, that's what we're going to end up doing. But like I said, there's no point me stand around for half an hour while you guys can be enjoying yourself. So everybody's ready, I might slowly start. Yeah, so has everybody got, first off, everybody got 2 bowls? We need 2 bowls to mix with. You got 2 bowls, obviously we go through the ingredients. So we got flour, plain flour, bicarbonate soda, salt, oats, honey, black treacle, Guinness, and buttermilk. Obviously, with the buttermilk, you can change that for apple juice. No, sorry, for the Guinness, you can change it for apple juice to make it vegan. And for the buttermilk, you can use stuff like almond milk, oat milk, stuff like that. Okay, but you can't really take away these ingredients without substituting for something else. Otherwise, the bread will be too dense and won't rise. All right. So first thing we're going to do in our first bowl, we're going to weigh out our dry ingredients. I'm going to try and get you to see this, but I don't know how easy it will be. Right, so first thing to go in is your flour. So 450 grams of flour. Make sure this is quite spot on, guys. We can't really differ from the amounts, otherwise it will make a big impact on the end products. Oh, also, sorry, I should go back a step. Has everybody got their oven on 210 degrees? We need to preheat the oven at 210. Okay, that's very important. Otherwise, if it's not hot when the bread goes in, the rise will not happen. Okay, cool. So, while everybody's done that, so we've got 450 grams of flour in there already. So, next thing is the bicarb. Another bicarb. We're going to do 15 grams of bicarbonate soda. $15 grams, lovely. 15 grams of salt. All right, lovely. 15 grams of salt. And what's the next thing? Oats. So, like I said, we're going to get all the dry ingredients into one, and then we're going to put all the wet ingredients into the next bowl. So, 150 grams of oats. These oats give it a lovely texture at the end, and obviously just give it that kind of, I hate to say this, but that oaty kind of earthy kind of flavour. It's a lovely texture to have. So what you're going to do is, in my bowl I've got all that. I haven't stirred any of it yet. I haven't mixed any of it. So I'm just going to give it a good old mix now. This will make sure that your bicarb is incorporated properly. That's the most important thing I would say, is the bicarb is nice and even through all the dry mix. Because once we weigh out the wet ingredients and we combine both of them, it will be instantly, we'll have to put them into the mold or tray or whatever you're using. Because once we add liquid to the bicarb, it activates. And as soon as it activates, you've got about 5 to 10 minutes until it deactivates. You know, so you need to get it in, you need to get it done, you need to get it baking. All right, so I've got my dry mix already mixed. So I've got one bowl with my dry, my wet ingredients now. So we're going to go for our first one. I'm going to do actually, I'm going to do the Guinness. Purely on, I know it's not in that order on the ingredients list, but purely on the fact that if I put my honey in now, it might get stuck to my bowl. So 220 ml Guinness. In the bowl. It's pretty good. Don't know what I'm going to do with the rest. Couldn't think. Right. What else? Honey. So lovely bit of honey. We're going to go 40 grams of honey. There we are, 40 grams. My treacle. Another 40 grams of treacle. And am I missing anything? Yeah, I am. My buttermilk. I couldn't get buttermilk, so I've used crème fraiche. But obviously, you can use the almond milk, the oat milk. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but you know, just to get that dairy product in there. If it's vegan, obviously you want to use non-dairy. But okay, 280 mils. But I'm just weighing it. So basically, rule of thumb is when it's mils, if it's more of a liquid, like quite a loose liquid, like water or Guinness or something like that, kind of per milliliter is a gram. So I'm just going to take, obviously I've weighed it out with the Guinness of 280 grams rather than 280 mils. And then the buttermilk as well. Well, sorry, the crème fraiche, I'm just weighing that out as well. So that's 280 right there. So what we should have now is a bowl that looks like this. Not the most attractive thing to look at. And what we're going to do is give that a nice stir around, make sure it's all incorporated lovely, no lumps of buttermilk or crème fraiche or anything like that. Obviously it's very loose. We want to make sure that's all mixed together. So if you're using a tray, you need to get a little bit of grease proof from your tray and flour it slightly. Okay, and when you come to taking it out of the bowl, just slightly damp your hands and you can scrape it out and mold it. Okay, so basically for the people that joined a little bit later, we've got one bowl full of all our dry ingredients and we've got another bowl full of all our wet ingredients. So I'll give everybody a second to catch up with that. So this would be lovely, obviously, when you come to bake it and you bake it afterwards, obviously let it cool down as much as you can. But just a little bit of butter on it, warmed, is lovely. Hummus, like I said. Anything with dips, I would say. I wouldn't say it's very good to make a sandwich because it can be quite crumbly. But anything apart from the sandwich is good. All right, so oven's on 210 degrees. I've got a bowl of my wet. I've got a bowl of my dry, all mixed lovely. Not mixed together yet, obviously, but they're all mixed in separate bowls. So in my dry bowl, I'm just going to make a slight well in the center. I don't know how well you can see that, but I'm just pushing it slightly up to the sides in my dry bowl. And then I'm going to add all of my wet. Just make sure you scrape the bottom of the wet bowl, making sure all that honey and treacle is not stuck anywhere. And then we're going to add all of it to our dry mix. So now we've added the wet. Obviously, like I said, the bicarb will start activating now, but because we've done that well, it won't be activating as quick until we've properly mixed it. So now I've got my spoon that I use for my crème fraiche. And I'm just going to go from the side. Well, you can see that. I'm just going to go from the side and just fold it in. The reason I'm folding it in is that I don't want to move the flour too much. We start really beating it, then you're just going to stretch the gluten. And if you start stretching the gluten, you're going to get an even denser loaf. So I just want to keep mixing it a little bit. You know, you can be a little bit rough. You don't have to be really gentle, but what I'm saying is just don't go over the top. Right, so that for me, I think it's pretty good. You're going to have a tiny bit of flour here, but it's not clumps. It's just a little bit of flour that's not incorporated, which is absolutely fine. And what I'm going to do now is just clean my spoon. So I want that lovely Guinness soda bread mix. Get rid of my other bowl. Yeah, so I've got my trusty bread tin. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to slightly wet my hands, keep them a little bit damp, okay, and then just get the whole bread and just lay it in. Okay, once you lay it in, you just pull to the side slightly and just lay it out. I'm going to damp my hand again, and I'm just going to shape it slightly how I want it. So I'm just going to push it into the corners. I'm going to try and pull it away from the edges slightly, just so it doesn't get stuck. And I'm just going to clean my, if you can see on the inside here, I've got all that excess dough. So I'm just going to, with my finger and my thumb, just going to clean that slightly. That's so that doesn't burn. And then obviously same again on the other side. And then there is your soda bread. Obviously, if you're using it onto a tray, just get your hands, put it down. Don't flatten it too much. Try and get it into a shape of a loaf. And then just use your wet palms just to mold it, shape it, however you want to do it. So this at 210 is going to be 10 minutes at 210, and then you're going to knock it down to 170 without opening the door, because you don't want to let any of the air out or the heat. You want to knock it down to 170 for another 30 minutes. And then once that's done, you let it sit in the tin mold for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and then then turn it out onto a plate or tray, or preferably a cooling rack to let it chill. And then that'll be you for it. It should stay as well for a couple of days, if not more. So as long as you keep it well. So there we go. So what also you can do is at the beginning, just put it in at 210 like I'm going to do now. Also another trick is put it in, see how my tray is like this. I wouldn't put it in the oven like this, because at the front of the oven, say would be this part of the tin, would be a lot lighter than the back of the oven. So when you put it in sideways, so you get an even colour. Yeah, so I'll put mine in. Alexa, 10-minute timer.
10 minutes, starting now.
So yeah, so like I said, after 10 minutes, you can take it out slightly, not for a very long time, and just drizzle, if you want, a tiny bit of olive oil on for the remaining half an hour, just to give it a bit more colour, if you like. This one I did earlier. This is with no olive oil or anything. This is just from the baking. And like I said, it's a little bit of denser loaf, but it's got a lovely oaty, rustic kind of, you know, that it's one of my favourites, I'd say, just simply because of the ease of it. and just the taste of it, it's very nice, slightly bitter. 210 for 10 minutes, then 170 for 30. If you've got it, if it's not in a tray, no, sorry, in a tin mold like this one, I would say give it 25. Just purely because the heat will penetrate it a lot quicker than if it was in a tin. Okay? The easiest way to check after 25 minutes is just prod it. If it comes out clean, like a cake, then you're ready. Enjoy the lovely weather, because it is England and by tomorrow it might be gone. So, all right guys, take care.